All right, we still gotta get our rock sliders welded in, and this is why I didn't care about rust, because I'm cutting this straight across all the way. There I'll have to add in a little bit of metal, but this is all getting cut out, so even if it was good. But before I do that, the next project I have to take care of, I bought the transfer case rebuild kit. I got to get the transfer case rebuilt. Then once that's done, then we're going to start cutting and welding in metal. That is the new process 242 transfer case. 242J. It's out of the Jeep ZJ. As you can tell, it's greasy, it's slimy, it's yucky. It's time for a rebuild. We are going to put 5W30 motor oil back in it versus using transmission fluid. Seals, bearings, everything. So we're going to swap it over to the 5W30 synthetic motor oil. I was going to do this as a flip, but I've already got the front end all rebuilt. Now I'm doing the transfer case. I gotta get a stud kit. Some of the studs are bad, the nuts are bad, so I'm gonna have to get a stud kit, redo that. It needs brakes front and rear, and I just don't feel it's worth as a flip, because these things, you can buy them running for 800 bucks. Do they leak oil and everything else? Yes. Mine, when I'm done, it isn't gonna leak. It's gonna have new brakes. But for the money I'm putting into it, yeah, I just don't see selling it for $1,200-1,400 to recoup money on a flip. But everybody knocks the 242 transfer case. They're a very good transfer case. People are, oh, go 231. Yeah, you can get the slip yoke eliminator. You can do the hack and tap. And on this one, I'm going to buy the $300 slip yoke eliminator. I'm going to do it the right way. If you do this transfer case the right way, it will be as strong as the 231. You'll have 4 high, 4 low. You'll have the where you can put it in 4-wheel drive and it just uses it as needed. There's a couple advantages to using the 242. The biggest downfall is the parts are a little bit more expensive for like the slip yoke eliminator and that. And it's gonna be my play toy. I got the degreaser. I gotta get the pressure washer out. I'm gonna totally degrease it, and I think when I'm done, I'm gonna paint it, the whole everything, and get it back in. But all right, that's where we're at. This is our starting point. I didn't show dropping the transfer case because them videos have been done to death. I think rebuilding them have kind of been done to death, but you know, it's just the video I'm making and to show what I'm doing to it. Put this shaft in here yet, because I'm gonna get the Tom Woods slip yoke eliminator, so this shaft will get changed from the 27 to the 32. This tail housing will get changed, and we lucked out. We already had the red Speedo gear in here. So when we re-gear the axles to 456, with a 34-inch tire, the red Speedo gear, we should be just a mile or 2 an hour off. Now we're just gonna we're gonna rebuild all the bearings, all new. We're gonna get this side done, and then we're just gonna hold off because we got to do this shaft. So that's where we're at. I did get the yoke off already. when I redo this shaft, I'll change it over to a 1350 joint. So that's where we're at. We're just taking it apart, and we're gonna get it all cleaned up, rebuild what we can, then wrap it in plastic and wait for when we can get the SYE kit. I'm not gonna. All right, we got this big snap ring out. You gotta pull the seal, get this out, then there's one right there. So I got to get that one out yet. We'll be able to take this cone off, and it's just a little bit of finesse. Transfer case is so trashed and filthy, but we gotta get that out, then we can get this cone out, then we'll lift this side of the case off. All right, we got this tail shaft off, got the cover off. Here's your oil pump. This is the bearing that's hard to do. People say try cutting this and slice it and get it out. I just went and bought a tool for it. I wasn't going to try fighting it. Slots in it. And what you do is you just screw that in. There's a lip here and it's slotted. So you'll get the size you need. And then you'll just screw this in until it gets underneath the lip of that bearing. And you just take a little slide hammer and you pull it out. And yeah, it's a $50 tool, but after watching people trying to be creative, because if you slice this out with a little mini die grinder, if you damage this aluminum, you just ruined this case. So I just bought the tool. Yeah, I think we're going to be buying a chain. That chain's pretty loose. So the only thing we didn't buy was the chain, and I think we're going to have to. That's pretty loose. But I got to order some other, I got to order the SYE kit for it and that, so that's where we're at. And I'll just have to order a chain. I think they're $70. And this whole not sure where I left off before I went to the hospital. You want a nice clean work surface when we rebuild this. So I'm going to do it over on that bench. I'm going to clean it off. But these parts are so grunge and crap. I mean, you could just see the filth. So I'm not worried about having it over here for disassembly. Then I'm going to degrease all this, and I might even paint it when I go to reassemble. But here's where we're at. This is all taken apart. We're down to here. So let me get set up on a tripod, and we're going to pull this. We got to pull this here out, and then we can get this piece out. Then we're pretty much getting ready to start doing the rebuild of it. So be right back. All right, to get this out, you may have to push up on this or pry up a little bit, because especially on this, that's why we're rebuilding it. There's already a bad bearing in the cover that I found. Or, I'm sorry, this bearing's bad. And so it don't want to release so well, but it's still now that will remove this assembly. So now we have this whole assembly out. There's needle bearings under here. They come in the kit, so we are gonna redo all that. Yeah, some good wear on that. Good teeth marks there. So anyway, now we're gonna undo this bolt here. What this is, it says spring retainer right there. So now that's out. We do that, and so now that whole retainer comes out of there. Now, you get to fight with this. Now that just slides, this piece here, it just goes on the fork, just slides right on like this. Now, make sure you're in your rebuild kit, you have these plastics. They just go on like that. There's 1, 2, and 3. You can go ahead and take them off because we'll be replacing those. Yeah, guess you can't